do not give up. Do not give up, you know, survive the way you have to, but like, do not give up. Keep going if you want your dream or your business to succeed.
Hey, everybody, welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany, and this is Unveiling Journeys. I have a great guest for you today. Before I get started, let me tell you just a quick second about me. I, I love meeting new people. I love the thrill of their story and what they're doing. A lot of times it's business owners, entrepreneurs, and how they're changing the world, and I can't get enough of it. But what ended up happening is I've met so many cool people that someone said, Tiff, you should start a podcast. And here I am. And I get the honor and privilege to be able to promote some of the neatest people in their companies and what it is they're up to. And what ends up happening is I have like a half hour conversation with someone, and a lot of times it goes over. And then I say, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Will you come on my show? By the way, I have people that you probably need to know. Can I introduce them to you? And then if we have time, oh my gosh, I'm looking at my clock. Like, can I tell you more about me? Do you know anybody? Somebody needs to know me. And it sort of just snowballs into meeting a lot of really neat people. And then you'll find me hanging out in networking groups, which is exactly how I met John today. And I love it. I love the thrill of it to meet new people and to be able to tell everybody about them. So, with that, welcome. I have John, who's coming as our guest today. Pretty excited because he lives in my old stomping grounds. I love and miss Florida, but he's a really incredible thing that he's doing, and I love his personality. And we met, of course, through the power of networking. And I want to welcome you in. Do me a favor, tell everybody a little bit about what you're up to right now and what you're doing.
Wow. I don't know. I get nervous
No, don't be nervous.
when I'm a
Pretend the
guest.
camera's
This is
not
not
even
my
on, right?
first podcast, but I'm honored. Like I really am honored. I don't ever want to lose that feeling of gratefulness whenever someone invites me onto their podcast, just because I know it takes energy and it takes work. And for you to invite me on here, um, I feel honored. Thank you so much for having me. And you have such a great personality. It's good to see you again. I
Yes.
haven't seen you in some of the networking groups and everything, and I now I know it's for good reason.
Yeah.
But I no, definitely miss seeing your face. So it's good to be here.
I am so excited to tell everybody about the stuff you're working on because you're just a fun human. And we've had chats where you have amazing backgrounds or you're in a coffee shop or like what you're capable of
Yeah.
doing. You can do this anywhere, which is why I love the power of the internet and the power of cameras and Zoom and whatnot. Tell everybody the stuff you're working on right now.
That is so hilarious that you remember the coffee shop. I enjoy going to different coffee shops and just kinda working from there because I am remote, the team is remote. So I own Help Agency, or I should say I co-own Help Agency, and we are a team of web designers and developers, and we serve other agency owners. The problem we're trying to solve is we wanna take the frustration away from these agency owners, and we do that by providing better communication and just giving old-fashioned reliability, the boring stuff, the very
Yeah,
unsexy stuff, right? So developers can be a dime a dozen, there are a lot of talented, developers out there, but and we could build almost anything, but the way we wanted to be different is we wanted to be ones that cared about and were very intentional about being providing better communication, taking the headaches out of the whole web dev process, and just being accessible, being more
yeah,
accessible than the competition.
I love that. And I know you have a really fun website too, because obviously when you're developing all this cool stuff, you have to incorporate it all for yourself too. And that's awesome because the boring stuff is what sometimes people neglect and forget about because it's the old usual. And that's what people want is the reliability, the consistency. And for you to be able to
Right.
maintain that for people, it's super important. And to be able to co-found what you did right now, I know there's a story behind it. And that's why I brought you here today is to hear your whole
Oh
journey.
yeah.
So do me a favor, let's start from the beginning. I want to talk about how you
Sure.
got here. Like, where are you from? And did you think you were gonna be doing this, like, as a kid growing up? Or, like, what was your college education? Like, your jobs? Like, I wanna hear it all.
No. I never ever thought I would own an agency. Had no interest in owning an agency. I've been through so many. I don't know. I feel like my career has just been this roller coaster. And I read somewhere now, like the average person has 7 careers now. I mean, I guess that's just the world we're in now. But I have a background in tech. I was mostly in the business development side, um, startups and some like mid-sized businesses. But I was just always really good with people and communicating, and never been like a hard salesperson, but a very good salesperson. So I really kind of just molded my sales style to my personality. I'm not the used car salesman type. I like I like selling higher end ticket items that solve problems.
Hmm.
And so my style has always been understanding the problems that the product or service solves and just getting really good at communicating that this is the best thing for your situation. Um, but about 6 years ago, my really good friend, probably one of my best friends, he started founded a company. It's an agency. He actually started 20 years ago, but he and I just started seriously talking about joining forces. He's this very introverted tech genius. Um, he's built the company from his reputation. He's just honest and hardworking and does good work. But he knew that he had hit a plateau. He knew that because he doesn't like talking to people, and really no one in the company likes talking to people. It's mostly designers and developers, and they kind of just like to create and put their heads down and build stuff. And he knew the missing piece was for someone to handle relationships, to
Hmm.
build relationships with existing clients, and then to go get new clients instead of having to depend on referrals. So we seriously started talking, and it started with me kind of just consulting and giving him advice. And the advice I gave him was working. And so, we decided to join forces, and we were both in the right place at the right time. I told him I wouldn't work for him, but I if I had ownership, then I would think about it. And so we did. We did own. We're both owners now. We did a rebrand. That was a painful process. So now we're known as Help Agency.
Yeah.
And when when I joined, I looked at the different clientele, and I noticed that a lot of the work that was coming to us were from other agencies. They were outsourcing it somehow. And then my business development mind, I was like, I got to talk to these people and I got to find out why, why do they like us? And it was the boring things that I mentioned. It's just, oh, you are there if we need you. You're just
Ah,
accessible,
right.
and you help us meet deadlines. And if there's a problem, you guys solve it, and you're just reliable. And so I went to Carlos and I said, I think we have something here. Let's stop just being a master of everything or trying to be a master of everything. Let's kind of just solve this problem. I think this is a big enough problem where we could build around it. And, you know, he came up with the name Help Agency. We were surprised it was available. And yeah, we kind of just want to be that partner. We're not trying to take over the world. We
Yeah.
don't want hundreds of agencies, but we want agencies that need us. Like,
Mm.
we care about that. We care, like, we want our partners to have some a big value
Yeah.
from being in a relationship with us.
Hmm.
And, we like loyalty. Loyalty and trust are huge values to us. And so we don't want to just have any partner. We want to know that we all like each other and we enjoy each other, and we're actually affecting each other's businesses.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're at today.
I love it. I want to go back further. Like, where are you born and raised at?
Okay. So I was born in Orlando,
Yeah.
and Orlando, Florida, but my dad was in the military, and we moved every 2 years. So I got to experience so many different cultures. I even lived in Italy, Iceland,
What?
and then outside of living at places, we were just always traveling. My dad was really, really big on seeing the world,
Hmm.
and yeah, that formed a lot of me. That kind of just formed my personality because I was forced to make new friends all the time. I had to
Oh,
keep saying goodbye to people that I loved and make new friends. I was always the guy in the outside looking in. I was always having to earn. And then, being Asian and going to places that didn't have a lot of Asians, it was very it was very difficult. But I look back now and I love it. I loved it gave me resilience. It
hmm.
gave me a love for people, a love for culture, and the skill to communicate in an environment where you don't really know,
Yeah.
and to make friends quickly
Yeah.
and
Otherwise,
and
you're gonna
how
be
to
alone.
build trust. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh my goodness. That's such an interesting way, like, to have to be thrown into that. I mean, I relate a tiny bit. My mom was like a gypsy. We just moved every couple years anyway, and I was like, sink or swim, right? I have no friends or I'm gonna make friends. So, to be able to do that and, like, develop it as a high of the personality character trait to be able to do that,
I
that's
was
awesome.
surprised you're from where I didn't know you were from Florida. Like,
No, I'm
what
from
area of
California,
Florida?
but I lived in Orlando for so long, I miss it so bad.
No way. I didn't know that.
But it's like so when you start having kids, you're like, "Man, I want my the parents to be around and
Mhm.
be grandparents for a little bit," so it's just easier to come back home, but, I tell people, the song,
Peop
"I left my heart in San Francisco." No, I left my heart in Florida. So
Yeah, let me tell you, like, people knock Florida, but it's a
oh,
unique place.
it is.
People forget this is the vacation capital of the world, and so it's this crazy hub filled with so many different nations, and it's a different environment. That's why I still live in Orlando because of all the different places that I've been to. Orlando is unique.
I love it there. I miss it. I tell people I left the desert to go to a hotter place.
Yeah,
So, it's even hotter
right.
over there. So when you said you had a tech background, what did you end up going to school for?
Business, and I actually didn't even finish. I ended up going into business and, I had a full ride
Yeah.
and but then when you get an opportunity, you do it. And, um, I tried different things. I ended up having a mortgage business, which did pretty well, but then, um, that ended up I ended up losing that business, so that was, like, one of my failures, and then I went into tech. I got so good that the mortgage business was actually where I cut my teeth
Mm.
when it came to business development, because you were basically selling a commodity,
Oh,
where everyone and their brother could sell, and so I had to find ways, to talk differently than people and to, present people, differently than people, so that they wouldn't go with their brother,
yeah.
and they would go with me. And so I learned sales there. Then I went to tech, um, and I just applied what I learned there, and I did incredible. It was fun.
Hmm, that's fun. But when you say tech, what kind of tech did you go into? Because that's like a wide.
My first tech job was with a company called Cold School, and they had recruited me. They, I forgot how they heard about me, but they were, again, a heavy web development company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they taught new technologies w through their website, which back then was unheard of.
Right, right.
Before, if you had to learn a new technology, you had to download the text editor, you had to set the environment, and then you start coding, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what they did was they created this technology where you could learn within the browser. So let's say you want to learn JavaScript, you just log into their website and there's this game, and
What?
it's a video game, and you're playing this video game, but you're coding and you're
Yeah.
learning to code as you go through the video game. And so back then that was extremely unique, and they had done really, really well without sales. I
Mm.
mean, in fact, when I got there, it was atrocious, like, what was happening because they were getting huge companies like PayPal, like, requesting, to buy from them, and they wouldn't even return the calls because there literally was no one to answer. They
Oh,
had no sales.
yeah.
They just were so unique, and what they created was so good that everybody wanted it. And it was fascinating because I had never known like that tech environment. And I was getting, once I came there, all of a sudden, like people wanted to talk to me. And I had people from Facebook wanting to talk to me, people from PayPal, people from
Yeah.
Groupon, which was big back then.
Yeah.
And I was getting invitations to fly out. And it was so wonderful. And it was so easy to sell. And, and the company thought I was some super salesman. They honestly thought I was some kind of, like, superhero, but really all I was doing was just common sense stuff like returning calls.
Default. Yeah.
And right? So, it was fun, and then we got bought out, by this huge unicorn called Pluralsight. They were like a billion-dollar company at the time,
What?
and they bought us out, and they wanted me to move to Utah, where they were based out of. I tried 3 times. I went over there to get the lay of the land, and I just couldn't. I did not get the vibe. You know, no disrespect to Mormons. I love Mormons. They were the nicest people.
Yeah,
It's
they're
just
so nice.
I just felt like I was the outside in. Like I could never, unless I became a Mormon, I
Yeah,
would always be out because everyone likes this Mormon, and so
pretty much.
I
It's
couldn't
like the
leave
mass
my
population
family.
in Utah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. That's so fun to think. Oh, so you turned down the opportunity to move to Utah. Does that mean you had to leave the company though?
Yeah, they basically let me go after that. So, but it was funny because you ever watch Silicon Valley?
Oh no. I'm not a big TV
Okay.
watcher,
So
but yeah.
Silicon Valley, if you ever get want to know like the culture and everything that happens in tech, watch that. It's funny because there's this one scene in one of the episodes where the main characters go up on top of a building and there's all these people barbecuing and they're having a party and they're like, what are you all doing here? And he goes, oh, we're the victims of all the acquisitions. Like we people forgot about us, but they're still paying us. So we feel guilty for staying home. So we just come here and we got nothing to do. So we're barbecuing.
Oh my gosh, that's
Um,
hilarious. Yeah, I guess it's wild. I
that's what
mean,
happened to me because for a while, for the first year after the acquisition, they didn't know I exist. I had no manager. I literally coulda and they're paying me a lot of money. They were paying
yeah.
me a lot of money. I literally could have traveled the world
Oh my
and
gosh.
they wouldn't have known, and I still would have been paid. I couldn't do that because of my integrity,
Yeah.
so I I sold even without any help. I just, like,
Yeah.
I used my contacts to keep selling and all that.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. What a trip. Now, being able to go, did you start your own business right away? How did you get circled back into like let's complete
No,
the circle from where you
I
went to starting this now?
I hopped around, um, and, you know, I had a good network, and so I always had a job. I could always get a job and a good paying job. Um, I so trying to remember this part, but I had been storing my money in the stock market, and that thing was growing like crazy.
Ah, nice.
And I turned my to my wife one night, and I was like, "Honey, like I'm working my butt off doing over here, but the money we're putting way over here we're making more money over here that's doing nothing than over here."
Yeah.
And so I told my wife, I said, like, "Hey, I think I want to learn the stock market." And I borrowed this concept from I think it's Ferris, something Ferris. He wrote 4 Hour
Oh,
Work Week.
Timothy Ferris. Yeah.
Tim Ferriss. So he said, like, if you want to learn a subject, you could create your own degree. And so I said, what? I was like, honey, like we have enough money, like how about we save a little more. so that I have at least have like a years worth of salary in another account, and then I'll quit. I'll make my own degree on learning the stock market, and she agreed. So, I saved up money, when I had, a year's worth.
Yeah.
I quit, and I went to every conference, every meetup, and took out to coffee anyone who would meet with me who had experience in the stock market, and I made my own degree. I learned it. I joined, um, these programs,
Yeah, yeah.
and like live programs, and learn how to trade and all that. And I trade, and I traded, and I wanted to get good at it. Well, because I network so much, like, people would want to hire me. They're like, "Man, you know stuff. I want you to train people. I want you to train my company, or I want you to consult, or I want you to create content." And so I basically had my own consulting business, and was doing all this stuff, even during the pandemic, and it was fun. It was fun. And so, yeah, and then, I kinda got tired of the trading game.
Mm.
I got tired. I had lost my biggest, client, and I just had to take a step back. And, I'm Christian, so, I felt also, as I was praying, like God didn't want me to continue that route. And so I took 6 months out off, and I kinda just did a little soul searching,
Hmm.
and, a lot of questioning, journaling, and all that stuff. And that's when Carlos and I just really started talking, and
Yeah.
we took it serious, and now I'm here.
Oh my gosh, I love that, like, full circle of where you've come from and all the little amazing things that you've got to do your whole life and then bring your wife
It's
into it
weird. I
too.
had to say I forget. Like,
Yeah.
I totally forget all that stuff happened until that's why I had to think. I had to think, okay, like, what happened
What?
here?
Right.
Yeah.
Man, that's so fun though. But like I see you, like you were saying, Tiff, I haven't seen you in some of the networking groups. Like I'm nap o'clock over here trying to like survive as a pregnant lady. But um I appreciate like when I see you and I get to bump into you in a new room that you are committed, you're dedicated, you show up to these things and you're always ready to go to be able to help people out. I know you're putting in the hours left and right, even though you're
Yeah.
smart about it, right? Especially reading 4-hour
Yeah.
work week. But why do
Yeah.
you keep showing up? Why do you keep caring so much?
You know, Number 1, it's my faith. I really feel some people feel called to certain things, maybe like someone wants to be a priest, or someone wants to be a pastor, and all that stuff. I feel called to be an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
and I'm having a good time doing it. I feel like it's my art. We all need a creative outlet. When there's a problem to solve, I feel like an artist. I feel like, okay, this is a challenge, and I get to think outside the box, and I get to, so that's part of why I show up. And then also, um, it's a social aspect. Um, the relationships that I built have been through this journey, and I know there's like still more, but even more relationships to build and more people to meet that in the future. And so I get excited. And so I wake up and I go to these networking events, and I meet people like you, and it's a journey.
Oh, yeah. I love that so much. Alright, at this point, people are thinking, "Wait, I wanna hire John. How do I find you? Like, what's your favorite way for people to come find you and follow you?"
Favorite is, either LinkedIn, on LinkedIn a lot. My email address is john@help.agency. Could always, get in touch with me through my email address. And, I would love it. Anyone who's hearing this, if you would, contact me, even if it's a way that we could help each other's businesses. I go to these networking events, and most of the time I'm looking for opportunities to bless other people. So I love meeting new people.
Oh, yeah. I love that we share that same, like, idea and be able to carry it forward and share. It's like sometimes I know I wasn't meant to be the person that you were supposed to meet. It's like, oh, you're supposed to know someone I know. Like I want to just be the bridge to the next person you need
Yes.
to have in your life. And I'm loving that. It's not like, oh man,
Yeah.
I couldn't like sell every person I've met. Like, no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we've used almost all our time, so I only have time for two more questions. But um,
Sure.
what's next? What's on the horizon for you coming up?
Just continuing to build,
Yeah.
I think we're in an important time in our company. We built this what we do is simple to explain. It's extremely hard to execute. It's for one thing for us to say, "Oh, we're going to be reliable. Oh, we're going to be accessible to you." When you have a team and you're especially when you're dealing with agencies with other teams and every agency does something different, it can get sticky, which is why outsourcing can
Mm.
be difficult. But it's something that we do, and we built internal systems. There's still more systems to build to even improve more. And so we've been head down. We've been head down doing that. We built our own software. Um, Last year, we spent a lot, we invested a lot in building project management software, communication software, and some of our partners have seen it just because they're around us and want to actually start using it. So that's an idea that we're trying to wrap our head around. That may be another part of the business eventually, but yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
it's
cool.
exciting times.
Oh, yeah, and I imagine someone like you can't sit still, and you're gonna keep getting inspiration to help
No,
all these
both of
people.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah, both
100%.
Carlos and I.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And, guys, if you are like, "What link? What's the email?" It's in all the show notes below, so that way you can reach out to John or friend any of us. Find me on LinkedIn, and I'll get you connected. Um, well, this is the last question I wanna ask you because 'cause we're gonna wrap up the show. What
Sure.
what, like, golden nugget or wisdom do you wanna leave with everybody?
See, you told me this was coming, and I turned blank. Um,
Well, I think some of the stuff you've told me is like, don't I mean, what comes to me for you is like, don't neglect the default, like the
yeah,
showing up, answering a phone call, returning,
right,
being there for people. Like that's what you specialize in because so many other people are neglecting it to just get back
right,
to the basics for your business. That's what they should all be like having as their foundation of everything and then not forgetting it.
right.
And for you, you're like killing it on that forefront so that you can be helping grow from there. Because if you can keep all of
Yeah.
your customers because you actually just call them
I
back.
thought of one. I
Yeah.
thought of one. Okay. So one of my favorite scriptures is, and I'm going to paraphrase it here because I can't think of the exact wording, but it's basically saying to God, 1,000 years is a day and a day is like 1,000 years. And that has always given me hope.
Yeah.
Because basically what God is saying there is what would take you 1,000 years, I could do in a day. And I've been just through so many rough times in life. And if you're an entrepreneur and you stick around, you're going to go through some really, really hard times. But that scripture has helped me because, like, if I just stick in, I
Yeah.
really believe this. If I just stick in, maybe maybe it only take a day, but things will turn around,
Yeah.
you know? M and you need that kind of grit. You
Yeah.
need that kind of grit to be successful in any venture that you do. And so that would be my nugget for the listeners. Do not give up. Do not give up, you know, survive the way you have to, but, like, do not give up. Keep going if you want your dream or your business to succeed.
I love that. There's so much hope in that because it does make so much sense. And that's who I feel like a lot listen to the show is like clinging on to that bit of hope as an entrepreneur, as a business starter, business owner, founder, to be able to be like, man, today was hard. Tomorrow's going to be hard,
Yeah.
but it's going to be worth it in all the end. I am
Yes.
so appreciative of your time. I'm so happy we finally got to record the show. I was like, "Wait,
Yeah,
how come you
right?
haven't been on the show yet? I haven't seen you in months." Um, and then I think everybody that's listening right now, so that way you could get a chance to meet John and hear his story. I highly encourage you to go friend him on LinkedIn because you bump into him at some networking groups. They're incredible people that we all rub shoulders with. And in the meantime, I will see you guys on a next episode. And thank you again, John, for your time. I will see you soon. I want to
Thanks
thanks.
for having me, Tiffany. It was an
Yeah,
honor.
same. All right. Bye, everybody.